So now, before we go to the next thing, we're gonna talk a little bit about refs. It's gonna be really small. So what are refs? Refs are references. So we can place a reference on an element and access its properties from within a view instance. I know it sounds confusing, but it's really simple. So I'm gonna use the code from the previous lecture. So I'm gonna go to the app number 1, right? And I'm gonna add a title. So I'm gonna say div, and let me do it correctly. Div, open and close, and this one is going to say hello. Really simple. Now I'm going to go to the div and I'm going to add an attribute. It's going to be called ref, and this one is going to be equal to something. So by doing this, it's like adding a class or maybe an ID, right? But instead of an ID or class, it's just a reference. So this one is going to be title. All right. If we reload the application, we get hello, but of course nothing happened so far. So when I click on the change value of the app number 1, what I want to do, I want to access this element directly on the changed value. All right, so I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna say console log, and I want to make a reference to this ref, right? So how can we do it? So first we say this view instance, and then we are going to be accessing refs. So by doing this, we are saying, okay, I want to access all the references we have inside or within this view instance. Since the ref, it's inside the app number 1, everything is going to be registered under here. So of course, if I reload the application and click on change, we're going to get this, and we get this. This is the console log we've been doing. So we're going to get title with a div, and if we open it, we have a ton of properties inside, because of course this title is an HTML element. So pretty much you get all the properties you get with a normal HTML element. So since this is an HTML element and we have a reference to this, you can access this element, this one of course, through here and do whatever it is that you want to do. So in this case, I'm going to delete this. Let's say that we want to add a color, right? We want to change the color. So we say this, then we say refs, then we say title because the name is title, right? Then we say I want to grab the style and modify the color to red. And I'm going to do one more before, just for fun. Refs, title, then maybe the style, and I want to change the font size, and the font size is going to be maybe, I don't know, something big, 50 pixels, right? So what we are doing, we are accessing all the refs, and just like an object, because it is an object, and then we are accessing the title. And of course, if we reload the application and I click it, we get the red and the 50 pixels, so everything works. So you can add as much references you wish. All right, if you want to add 100 references, you can totally do it. All right, and everything, it's going to be working because it's JavaScript. What you cannot do is have 2 references with the same title, because this is just for the same ID, because it's an ID, so it should be unique. All right, so it's something very simple. I wanted to add it before we move forward. So to sum everything up, ref, it's like a pointer to a particular element that gives you access to do whatever operation you want to do on that element. In this case, we are doing, something very dumb. But, I believe you get the idea. So we are almost done with the basics. We need to talk about a couple more things. They are really important. And then we're going to go to the fun part. I believe it's the fun part, at least for you. Which is we're gonna build something with this method, just with the basics. Then of course we're gonna go more pro with Node, and we're gonna build a different project and everything else. So okay, so let's go to the next one.